The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Hi everybody, I'm Lee Brecheen, the host of the Sports Scouting Report. We've got a great show today. We've got Brusly High School is on. We've got their head football coach, and we've also got two of the top recruits from Brulee, two sleeper recruits. One kid's been starting 4 years. The other kid is really coming on as an upcoming senior. They're both going to be class of 223 kids. And we also have Dr. Shay Corbin joining us later in the show to talk about sports injuries, but he's a big football fan. He's been involved with the PGA on tour with the Golf Association as a doctor, and also he races cars. If you're into that kind of stuff, he's a car racer as well. I want to thank the Marriott Hotel by College Drive for all our guests that are coming in town, usually on some of our shows, and also want to thank Superior Grill in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We'll be right back with more of the Sports Scouting Report.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. I'm Lee Brecheen, your host of Sports Scouting Report. We've got great guests today. Like I said, Bruley High School is going to be the majority of the show. Head coach Hoff Schooler, man, what a great guy. By the way, we're going to introduce him. He was at Ruston for 11 years prior to Brulee. He's done a phenomenal job at Brusly High School. He'll be joining us later in the show, but we've got two of his recruits, two of his football players, two student athletes, and we love bringing these recruits on a lot. Some kids we bring on need the exposure. My first guest, his name's out there, but surprisingly doesn't have an offer yet, but I think he will have several by the time the season's over. But I want to introduce Randall Matthews. Randall, thanks for joining us.
Welcome.
Appreciate you being here, man. What's it feel like? You got 1 year left. That's it, coming up.
Feel good. You know, we got a young team, so we've been grinding in the weight room and on the field at practice. So we're gonna find a way to win this year.
I want to tell the people out there, you're a very accomplished track guy too. You're good in football now. We're gonna talk about your football, but you love the hurdles.
Yes, sir.
What is it about the hurdles, and why do you like running hurdles so much?
So running hurdles is really about rhythm. So like in the 110 hurdles, if you mess up, then there's a chance that you'll lose. So you have to be like very technical about it to get over them and win.
What's it like track practice, to practice doing the hurdles? Because that's hard.
I mean, Coach Thomas is tough. So basically he really puts me on like 300s and then raise the hurdles all the way up to like Olympic height. And
what's your best time in your 300?
300, I think like 39, okay. 40.
Would you like to run track in college?
I would if I got the opportunity. Yeah.
How'd you do with regionals and state? How did you fare?
I did good. Came in second.
Second,
third.
That's pretty good, man. What is it like to see the top track guys in the state in one day? I mean, get to watch them too.
Yeah, it's feel good.
A lot of talent in the state, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Did anybody impress you in the hurdles? Obviously, besides what you do, but was there anybody that stuck out to you in the hurdles?
Yeah.
Who would that? Do you remember what school?
West Feliciano. I think his name. I forgot his name. But yeah.
Pretty good.
Yes.
Pretty good. Was he the guy that was first?
Yeah, always a challenge for him.
How do you balance track, basketball, and football? Because you're a three-sport guy. You go from one to the next, but I think they're good for each other. I think it keeps you in shape. I think basketball is great for football. Track too. It's always improve your speed. But your endurance, you got to keep your weight because I know basketball, you lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, track, I definitely lose a lot of weight.
But you're in what, 5'11", 165, might play at 170 this year, but you lose weight, gain weight. How does that work for you as an athlete?
I mean, it's okay. It's just in track when I put on weight because of football right after, and then I have to lose it a little bit to maintain my speed.
You got to be very structured, huh?
Yeah.
Because you can't get overweight in track, right? You got to be a certain weight to run your times. What is it like playing for your coach at Brulee?
Coach great. Anytime you need anything, he there for you. And, it's just all good with the team.
Coach Schooler does a good job. I know the last couple of years y'all really been the name and the brand and the winning. I mean, y'all have done some good things. Y'all been to the playoffs every year, which is not something that we would see every year. I mean, there was a time when Randall blew Gay before you were probably born, and Norman Lejeune, I mean, they win every year, but there was a drop there for a while. But coaches brought that back. How does that feel to be a part of a coaching staff that has brought Brulee back to winning?
It feel good. He just try to put the best 11 out, and that's what we do, and still work hard in the weight room and on the field.
Randall, what do you think about the talent in Baton Rouge? I mean, every week it's tough teams. I mean, if you go out of district, it's tough. In district's tough. I mean, even where you're from originally, White Castle, being a 1A school, you don't want to play them on any given Friday. They can beat some 4A teams.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel like Baton Rouge like the toughest in sports, and 3A also toughest in sports. So it's always a challenge.
What about basketball?
Basketball, yeah, definitely a challenge.
Where do you see most of the height that y'all play come from? Is there one area where y'all play bigger, taller guys? I mean, because you don't always see the 6'8", 6'9" guys.
Yeah, so the height, I feel like is really around like that U-High area, Zachary, around there.
How good are you in basketball?
Pretty good. Been a 3 year starter in basketball.
Hey, man, that's pretty good. You got to be good to start basketball. You got to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
Your size, right?
Yeah.
So you two guard or point guard?
Point guard.
So you're running the offense. Can you dunk?
A little bit. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Is your strength shooting or finishing?
Really both. I can shoot, but I prefer not to. I'm mainly on the defense.
Are you a guy that harasses the other guy and steals balls all the time?
Yeah.
You get in their face and because you got that football mentality, right?
Yeah. So Coach Luke, he basically put me on like their best guy, and I just guard him all day.
And they don't like that, huh? Because you make them earn it, right?
Yes, indeed.
I mean, you got that football bracket. That's why I like football, because if you got a baseball player and he played football, you got a basketball player play football, you got a little more tenacity. I watched Jack Besh from LSU play at St. Thomas More a couple of years ago, and he played like he was playing football. And you could tell the other team was a little like, man, this guy, he brings it. He was 6'2", and had 12 rebounds a game.
Impressive.
And I mean, he was just like, this is my, this was I like the mentality there. But what is your, so are you a 3-point guy, or do you like to shoot the 6 to 8 feet shots?
I could be a 3-point guy when I want.
Okay. College, all right, so you got track, you got basketball, you're really good football as a DB and a receiver. What do you think? What do you, where's your love the most out of the 3 sports?
I feel like football and track, it's hand in hand for me.
You like to do both in college?
Yeah.
Now football, what do you like more about the game, defense or offense?
Really offense. I love to score touchdowns. I love to score touchdowns.
People always say the cheering and everything.
The feeling.
The adrenaline. You do any punt, kick returning this year for Coach?
Oh yeah, I do a kick return.
4-year starter. So you were 14 when you started?
No, I probably was about 12 when I first started football. But
varsity, you were about 14? Freshman? I mean, that's pretty good to start varsity 3A ball. Last question, what do you think you need to improve on, and what do you think the team needs to improve on this year?
So I think I need to improve on, like, my endurance, because this year I'm going to be playing both ways.
Okay.
So need to work on that. And the team, ain't much to work on, but we just need to come together more and
Play
be
as a
together
team.
more. Yes, sir.
Now,
And
Coach
as a
Luke,
unit.
that's his son on the football team, right?
Yes, sir.
Cody, he's big.
Good.
Who can outrun who? Because I heard he's fast.
I got run.
Now, you run a 4.5, but he's what, a 4.6?
Yeah.
And he's 6'4", about what, 235, 240. And so his dad coached in basketball.
Yes, sir.
Well, this is Randall Matthews, Brulee, going to be class of 223, three-sport athlete, going to be a senior this coming year in football. We'll have another year basketball, track. Good to meet you. Good luck to you. Anything you want to say about anybody that's had a real impact on your life? A shout out to anybody?
Shout out to Coach Tate, Coach Thomas, Coach Schooler, Coach Moore. That staff really was great to me.
All right. Well, we've got Randall Matthews. When we come back, we're going to have his teammate, Stefan Anderson, who's 6'4", pushing 170. He's going to be a senior, a sleeper for this coming year for Brusly High School. Then we're going to have Coach Schooler join us, and later in the show, Dr. Corbin. We'll be right back.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company. Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours. Located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Hi, everyone. Lee Brecheen. Welcome back. The Sports Scouting Report. Our guest. You met Randall Matthews. You're now going to meet a young man who's a teammate. Bruley High School, class of 223, going to be a senior. Stefan Anderson. No, not Stefan Sullivan from Donaldsonville, which is not far away. Stefan Sullivan had a great career at LSU. I think he's still bouncing around in the NFL as a free agent. But we have Stefan Anderson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Doing good?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be a senior this year.
Yes, sir.
Coach spoke real highly of you about 2 weeks ago. I was going over the team with him, and he told me there's one guy that's starting to make a difference. He's starting to come around, and he said, Stefan. And I said, man, I didn't even have his name. And he said, well, he's really come on. You 6'4", almost 6'5",
Yes, sir.
100, almost 170. You got the room to be 215 pounds easily. But you're a receiver.
Yes, sir.
What's it like playing for Coach Schooler? What's it like being a part of the Bruley football team?
It's really, it's an experience. Like, because we get a lot of things that most teams don't. Like I say we're a very fortunate team.
Okay. Yeah, they work hard, but y'all have a lot of respect for the coaches, huh?
Yes, sir.
What's the off season been like for you? Getting to know football. You started playing as a junior, really varsity. I'm talking about getting to play. You're starting to gain weight. You're starting to get it. What's been the key for you to start improving going in your senior year?
Really, just going my best in workouts, and polishing the craft off the field and all that.
What would you like to play at? I mean, September's coming, but you got 3 months left. You still trying to get a little heavier, a little more muscle? Y'all lifting every day?
It's Mondays through Thursdays.
What do you like more? I got to ask, because I remember playing football. I remember two-a-days. I remember the gym. I remember the early mornings. There's the clean, the bench, the squat. Which one do you like?
I'd rather probably squat.
Okay. What can you lift?
3-something.
3-something, and you're only not even 170 right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. Obviously, you got spotters, right?
Of course.
So what are you learning as a receiver? I mean, again, you're a late bloomer coming on the scene. You're tall. You got a lot of ability, but you're learning and you're getting there. But what's it been like playing receiver?
It's really been it's been fun. I've been learning how to read coverages, releases, how a certain type of people play. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about college? Like, now that you're becoming a player, You know, I mean, you're almost 6'5", and you got a chance to put tape out there for the first year to really have a full year. Anybody come to mind to you, like growing up, I like this college or I like that college?
I'd say probably like teams like LSU, Oregon, Arizona State, them type of teams.
You like Arizona State?
Yes, sir.
You like the desert? What about Oregon?
Uniforms.
You like the uniforms? LSU?
LSU, that's just because I'm from down here.
Down, I mean, across the bridge, man. Yeah, it's right there.
It's right there. It's home.
You can see the stadium from
getting on the bridge.
Get on the bridge, it's right there. You got any LSU guys you followed? Any receivers? You know, they've had a bunch of them.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
Justin
Jefferson.
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah,
what do you think of Jarvis being a Saint?
He came home.
It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's good.
Have you ever been to a Saints or LSU game?
I've been to LSU game.
What was that like for you?
I went with my middle school football team, so like had friends there and everything, so it was very fun.
Did you eat you some tailgate food?
Nah, we didn't get there early.
Y'all got there late?
Yeah.
How loud is it? It's pretty loud. Huh?
It's very loud.
That's something you never forget, huh? Going to LSU game.
Yeah.
You remember who they were playing when you went?
I think they were playing Troy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they won that one, I think.
Yeah.
Got to get back out there, man, as a senior. You got to go to an LSU game. I'm sure they're going to see the show. And I'm sure you're going to do a great job this year. Talk about receiver, what you're trying to learn to become a complete receiver this year.
I really want to learn how to do like breaks, like get better on breaks, like
your route running,
yeah, route running more,
the little things. Yeah. How's your hands?
Oh,
pretty good. When the ball's up, it's yours.
Yes, sir.
Because you look like vertical. Nobody's going to get the ball from you.
My favorite route is the fade.
Oh, I mean, you're almost 6'5". I mean, you own it when it's in the air, huh?
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you, Stefan. I know you got a great year coming up. You're going to be a senior. This is your year to, like I said, show the tape. The way things are going, a lot of guys sign based on their senior season. And I'm glad we could bring you on today.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Stefan Anderson. Keep up with this guy. He's going to have that 1 year to start and show everybody what he's got at receiver for Brusly High School. Stefan, so next will be Coach Schooler, the head coach at Brusly High School, in just a moment.
Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage. Looking for a used car? Harvey Autos has 3 dealerships, which means 3 times the used vehicles. They've got everything from fuel-efficient compacts to luxury models, even hybrids, and certified pre-owned with a warranty. Check out John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, or Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City.
Welcome back. You're watching the Sports Scouting Report. Lee Brecheen, your host. We've got great guests on so far. I mean, we had 2 Brulee recruits, Randall Matthews, Stefan Anderson, 2 seniors upcoming. Brulee's had some really good players. We're going to talk to Coach pretty soon. And last in the show, we got Coach, our doctor, Shay Corbin, is going to come on and talk about sports injuries in a positive way. Not to distract people from playing sports, but just the precautions. But we want to go ahead and introduce Brulee head football coach, Hoff Schooler. Schooler, thank you, man.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks, Lee.
Remember when you got hired and I saw Rustin, and I read your bio. I think the Advocate had put it up, and I was like, well, I remember meeting him, or I remember meeting him when going up to see Rustin Beerley Laird, and then with Brad Laird and that whole crew. But you didn't. I mean, you've been in coaching a long time prior to Brulee.
First year was all the way back to 1998. So started out at Marksville High School, and crazy how things changed.
Did you miss Lavallee during that, or you?
So Chad was going out, but I had the younger brother coached his younger brother Petrick, who Petrick was an All-State player as well. Yeah. and things changed throughout the years, and back then on the entire offensive staff at Marksville High School was me and JT Dunbar.
Oh,
and
man.
JT had the offensive line, and I had every skill guy.
And he just retired.
JT just retired.
He was
really,
there for almost 20 years.
Head coach there 20 plus years. So it's good to see guys like that stay in a spot and don't just bounce around. They build a program, and that program is a community school at Marksville, and have a ton of support. And just for JT, a grassroots build there. So really happy for him to be able to retire and enjoy those things. But we'll miss him in the coaching ranks for sure.
I want to mention this. After Marksville, you told me you were in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Close to the Gulf Coast.
So Stone County, which is in Wiggins, is about 20 minutes north of Gulfport, home of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. If anybody knows that through
Yeah,
recruiting
big time,
through recruiting
big time.
ranks. So I got to spend 5 years there. Was the offensive coordinator there, and before I got an opportunity to come back home to come to Ruston and work for Billy Laird, and then spent 7 years working
Yeah.
for Coach, and then got that opportunity to work for Brad, his son, my last 4 years there before he went on to Northwestern, and we came to Brulee.
I want to throw out, this is not Wikipedia, but I want to throw this out. When you said Wiggins, Mississippi, the first thing I remembered, Coach, is Artie Moore was a Parade All-American running back. When Curly Hallman was coach at LSU, he signed him.
Yeah.
He was the #1 player in Mississippi. And I remember they signed Robert Davis out of Birmingham, Alabama, Artie Moore. Artie never played a down at LSU, but he signed.
And if I remember right,
You remember that name?
I do. I remember the name. If I remember right, I think Stone was running the old single wing type deal, and he was the main guy in that, and was like a 2,500-yard rusher or something.
He ran for like 8,000 yards, but he went to LSU for one day and left.
And when that same time, it was Jamie Spencer. It was 4 or 5 running backs, big
from
name
Washita High
guys
School.
that
Big Jamie
came
went to
in.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Jamie
so,
was 250, 6 foot, ran a 4.5.
Yeah, big guy. Big back.
Specimen.
I think there was a lot of those guys all that same
Problem
time
is he
period.
had to back up Bettis.
Yes.
Jerome Bettis.
Yes, Hall of Famer. Yeah.
And Lou Holtz was stockpiling him at the time, like Saban.
Yeah, no shame being a Hall of Famer or back up to a Hall of Famer.
Right.
I can tell you.
He didn't play his first 3 years, but
Yeah.
Spencer, they'll say to this day, was the greatest Washita player ever. Ran for like 5,000 yards.
Yeah, he was a
Running
pretty
back,
good one.
not fullback.
Yeah,
250.
a true running back. Yeah, he was a pretty good one. They've got some good ones as well.
Billy Laird was a great coach to learn from.
Yes.
Hall of Famer. You mentioned it, and I remember you reminded me, he was the first Woodlawn of Shreveport All-American quarterback.
Yeah, so that lineage through there, everybody of course knows Terry Bradshaw and Joe Ferguson and all that, but the lineage actually started with Billy, and then went on to play at Tech and all that, and then had a cup of coffee in the NFL, so to speak, but came back and ended up being offensive coordinator at Northwestern and then at Tech and all that, and those guys were all close knit, and Billy ended up coaching underneath Coach Williams, A.L. Williams, who coached had all those guys at Woodlawn before he parlayed that into the head job at Northwestern and then the head job at Louisiana Tech. So really a tight-knit group and a great group of guys, a fun group of guys to be around.
I wish I could have been just like they say, a bird on the ledge just listening, but when you were at Ruston. But when you were there, you had the chance to see A.O. Williams a lot.
Yeah.
And that is, you're talking about history and wisdom. He coached Terry Bradshaw
in
high school, and Joe Ferguson.
And
Billy.
Yeah.
And John Booty and all these great quarterbacks that came out of Woodlawn, and the one that passed away at LSU that went to Vietnam, Trey Prather, who they said was better than Bradshaw.
Than all of them, yeah.
But you were able to drink coffee with those guys every morning.
Yeah, so it's really Coach Williams is a great storyteller, and you get some of the old stories and all the way back to coaching at Fair Park and all that, and then those guys they talk about now we exchange film on huddle and you just hit a button.
Yeah.
Back then they went to the train station and put it on the train, and sent it. And the stories I think you get some of the stories of the Neville teams and some of those, and Neville played three games in 7 days or whatever it was, and winning a state championship, things like that. So just to sit and get that history and that kind of stuff.
The legendary Chick Childress from Ruston, you were able to.
So Coach Childress was a regular, and obviously the field house is named after him there, and always an honor to get to sit and visit with Coach Chick. And get some words of wisdom. You know, and it's not just those guys. You still had guys that give back. You got Kyle Williams and guys like that consistently come through. And Kyle's on staff now. Burt Jones. Joe Ferguson would come around. Those kind of guys are always coming around and just wanting to be a part and I guess smart enough to take advantage of some of their history lessons.
Coach Schooler, that's half of the Hall of Fame in Louisiana there.
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
That's the big guys.
Yeah, it is.
What was it like to, out of all those coaches, what do you think you learned the most out of all those legends?
Obviously the most from Billy, because being there on a day-to-day basis, being in practice, being in those meetings, and how Billy dealt with the boys, and also how he dealt with the managing the program and the day-to-day things to make sure we could coach the guys and the guys could play, and he handled that kind of business. So really, the organization and attention to detail was the biggest thing.
Yeah, I wish Billy was still with us. He passed away a few years ago. Great guy. He was very good to me and with the magazine. Anytime I went to Ruston, he would show me around. He was always organized.
Yeah,
probably the most organized coach I've ever been around. He said, when you get here at 7 a.m., Lee, everything will be ready with the players, the uniforms, take pictures, all the way to the office, to the classrooms, and everybody knew. And I was like, this man's incredible. And he was in his 60s.
That's him. He was late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, doing this.
And still excited about coming to practice every day,
man.
Still excited about coaching kids. And yeah, I'm truly blessed.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Coach Schooler with Bruley. We're going to talk about Brusly High School, his staff, his players. It's going to be, the season's here. Jamboree weekend will be here before you know it. We'll talk about all that. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, you've got to go to Madine's Collision Center, located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Family owned since the 1960s. Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads & Care Tire Company, located in Central. Call 331-8144. Family owned and operated. It's 1971. That's 331-8144.
Welcome back. Lee Brecheen, your host of Sports Scouting Report. Our guest is Hoff Schooler, the head coach at Brusly High School in Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, right across the bridge. I mean, right there by, 2 minutes from LSU, if that, if you take one exit. Dalrymple or Highland. It's right there.
Right there.
Coach famous people to come out of Bruley. Obviously, Randall Blue Gay won a Super Bowl ring with the Saints, LSU. Norman LeJeun's not listed in Wikipedia. They need to jump on that Wikipedia person for Norman needs to be in. Amy Como, country music artist, is from Bruley. I did not know that.
Didn't know that one.
And Edmund Jordan, lawyer, state representative, Edmund Jordan. William Patoot, Iberville Parish sugar grower, resided in Bruley in the early 60s. This is I didn't know this. Founding president of Grambling State University, Charles Adams.
I did know that one, yeah.
Founded Grambling.
I didn't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bruley, a lot of history. And then there was a few years before you getting there, it was just kind of, I would say a little stagnant of a few coaches.
Yeah.
A lot of guys came since Brady Perry who did a great job there. And when Brady left, they had a few people come in, all carrying local people. You come in from Ruston. I got to hand it to you, Coach. Not from Baton Rouge. Come to South Louisiana. Immediately see discipline in the team. See you guys out on the field. They all look like they're in the weight room. You can just tell. You can tell the hard work. But what did it take to get the guys to buy in immediately with you being new?
I think the biggest thing for us was we, as a staff, we had a mindset from the get-go of how we wanted to do things, and we wanted to build things, number one, around being a community school. The kids, the families that live in Brulee and Addis, those are the kids that are going to walk through these doors, and those are the kids that we're going to coach. So when you can't dictate, everybody's not going to walk in and be Stefan and be 6'5". Everybody's not going to walk in and be Randall and be able to churn out a 4.540.
And run the hurdles.
And all that kind of stuff. So how are we going to grow numbers? And once we grow those numbers, how are we going to develop those kids? And so the most consistent thing for us as a staff was, all right, we'll base this thing around the weight room and being as strong as we can be, whatever that is, being as fast as we can be, whatever that is, and being as tough as we can be, whatever that may be. we put those three things together, then the football piece will fall into place, you know. And so that's kind of what we've tried to do. Obviously, you know, you had some hiccups in there when the way we like to do things in the off season, the weight room, we couldn't do during COVID because you know you had the separation and that kind of stuff. But now we're able to get back to doing it that way. But I think that you know, you look at, like you saw Randall today, and Randall's been in the weight room for 4 years, and it's obvious. You see it. Whether, you know, even though he's a 3-sport guy and he's a lean guy and all that kind of stuff, but you can tell he's strong. He's great in the weight room, absolutely great in the weight room. And Stefan, I'm so proud that he said squat was his favorite lift, because the 6'5" guy typically wouldn't like to squat. But we can put him in the weight room and he'll get after it. So that was kind of has been and always will be kind of the formula. And then you know, we like to play a lot of guys. We typically play 55 to 60 guys on a Friday night and get guys involved, get them in the ball game, get them on special teams. Now, obviously, you have Randall. Randall can play both sides of the ball and play teams, and he'll do that. But then you have some guys that specialize on that one side of the ball, and that's what they're going to do. But you know, always the strength in numbers thing. That's one of the things I learned from Coach Laird. So when we started out, when I got here, we had 27 guys day one. In the spring, this spring we had 81. And that's somewhere around the number we've been running over the past 3 or 4 years.
And another thing I noticed about the program right off the bat, you're a big component, I am too, of guys who play football and wrestle.
Yes.
There's a lot of your alignment, especially your hand coordination, feet, everything is, you learn a lot. Because I remember Redemptorist, Coach Mastretta was big on that. And obviously it paid off with state championships over there, but most of his team was on the wrestling, or Catholic High Baton Rouge, or Brother Martin, or Ruston, or whoever. But most of your linemen are on the team.
You know, I think Coach Bible's been doing it forever, obviously, and you had 13 or 14 state championships and runner-ups in there as well, and countless individual state champions. But you know, we encourage them. All right, hey, if you're a basketball guy, go play basketball. If you're baseball, go play baseball. If you don't know what you think you might want to do, well, let's get in here in the wrestling room and let's compete. Even if you're not a guy, you may not be a guy that's going to wrestle in the state tournament, but learning how to compete. You know, I always say, you get out there on the football field and you got a helmet on, your jersey number with a helmet running, or or a helmet with a jersey number running around, and you're 50, 60 yards away from the fans and all that. When you get out there and you're wrestling or you're playing basketball or whatever, everybody's right on top of you. Everybody sees your face, and there's nowhere to hide. And particularly in wrestling, when you get out there and it's just one-on-one. And you know, I'd never been a wrestling guy until I got here, and then saw what those kids do and how committed they have to be to it. And it's fun. It's you know, hopefully they get up and go, and they're trying to get girls wrestling up and going. And we got a couple girls that are deserving of that. Got an All-American in that, so hopefully they can get that going for them.
But Coach, you got a bunch of players playing all over the country. Daenerys Robinson from last year was a great DN.
Yeah.
Remember, he came over from Barb from the Hurricane. Great player at Mississippi College. What a steal there.
Yeah, they lucked up. Boy, Coach Gilbert did a great job recruiting. And, you know, Daenerys came from Lake Charles, but Daenerys is probably a better fit in Brulee. Daenerys is a small-town guy and a community guy. And really, Miss Erica, his mom, a great family. And I think once they went to Clinton and that fit with that coaching staff up there and that campus, and then, you know, we had another guy up there in Grant Watts. So had another Brulee guy up there, and Grant, both those guys, in talking to the coaching staff, both those guys have a really good chance to start this year for Mississippi College. So
Bradenville at Hutchinson, Kansas Junior College.
Hutchinson, Kansas, yes.
Bryson Walker, Louisiana College.
A
few guys out there that are playing.
Garrett Roberts finishing up at Southern Arkansas. Garrett probably finish up with be a 3-year starter and probably have a master's degree when he walks out. Super proud of him.
Might get into coaching.
We take him, but he's probably going to do something that'll pay a little bit better than coaching, I would think.
I'll tell you what, Daenerys Robinson, what a man-child kid. Strong, 6'2", 250, can run. Yeah, that's a guy that I would see going to Ole Miss 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And with this transfer portal, you know, that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing guys go to D3, and then if they do great D3, they go back D1.
Yeah.
So the D3 school will lose them if they do progress fast.
It's tough on the high school kids. And now I understand the change. I understand this, and the coaches didn't go out asking for that. They're adapting to what they've been given. But it's tough when a coach walks in and man, Coach, love your guys. They got the grade. They did everything that we said they needed to do. They had the grades. They got the test score. They got the film. They got the size. They got it all. But we're only taking 10 high school guys this year because we're taking X amount out of the transfer. It's tough. And that's something we'll have to adapt to as high school coaches and how we promote our kids in a different light. And more, obviously, shows like this help us do that, help get some sleeper guys, their name out there. And we may have to broaden our base a little bit. And used to be, we had so many schools, McNeese and Northwestern and all of them in the state of Louisiana. And those guys are taking transfer portal guys. So we may need to branch out, and a guy may have to be willing to, a Randall may have to be willing to go to Arkansas and play at Arkansas Tech
or Kansas
or whatever it may be, whatever opportunities out there, understanding that the transfer portal is going to be there for you as well once you're a college athlete.
Well, Coach, most of these D1 colleges like Tulane, McNeese, Northwestern, Southeastern, they're only taking 5 or 6 Louisiana signees.
It's tough.
They're not even taking 8.
It's tough. So for a state that has so much high school talent, the spots have gotten so limited. So even more important for, I mean, you talk about it like Tulane take, if I could be one of those 5 or 8 kids and have a world-class education. So even more important to have the things I talked about in order, the test score, the grades, and the film, because the spots are just so limited.
Well, just for mamas out there, I'm looking into the camera, but for mamas, you might have to let your kid go 1,000 miles away. But there's a lot of good colleges. There's over 2,000 colleges that have football teams. We send out 2,000 when we do a highlight tape. Actually, there's 2,200, I believe, that are D3, NAIA, D1, 1AA. There's some great schools out there.
Yeah.
And if you're a mom or dad watching the show, 12 colleges is all we have in Louisiana.
Yeah.
One's probably not going to get an offer to LSU. That's like 1 out of 300 in the D1 deal. And then you got 4 other D1 schools. And if you're not D1, then you're down to 6 schools, and you got 6 to pick from. So you better have another 50.
Yeah.
And
I guess we got Centenary starting up.
Centenary starting up in about a year. They're going to be NAI or D3.
Yeah.
Byron Dawson got hired for that job, but
LSU guy.
They're still going to be limited on scholarship money.
Sure.
So they might only be taking maybe 8 or 9 a year on scholarship. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more of Coach Schooler, Brusly High School. We're going to talk about the facilities. They got a brand new school not long ago. It's a great school. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom-tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back, Lee Brecheen, Louisiana Football Magazine, the Sports Scouting Report. We've got Coach Schooler with us from Brusly High School, a great guy. Hope you learned a little bit about Brulee, and also a little history. Brulee was established in 1901, for what it's worth. 1901. We weren't born yet, Coach.
Yeah,
I know we're
a little before our time.
A little before our time, but 1901's a long time. Speaking of Brulee and the age, the school needed to be newer. It had been years and years, and then finally, y'all got a state-of-the-art school.
Yeah, so when I came in 2017, we were still in the old school, but obviously they had passed the bond issue to build the new school, and with I guess so over the past several years, the population explosion on that side of the river, and everybody's figuring out how good it is on the west side over there, and Addis being one of the fastest growing towns. I think Addis and Youngsville are a couple of the fastest growing towns in the state, and so it was time. It was time, and then. You needed more space in the high school as well as your elementary schools. So when I came in 2017, I think we were 520 students, and now we're a little over 700. And classes coming in are bigger than the classes going out. So the new school is beautiful. It sits right on Highway 1 and stretches almost to the levee to the River Road on the backside. Academic building, state-of-the-art academic building. There's every kind of computer lab and robotic stuff and
y'all have an academic
class
building?
stuff. Yeah,
Wow.
2-story academic building up front, and then as you come down through the courtyard, get the competition gym and auxiliary gym, so 2 gyms, so we can host. Obviously allows basketball and wrestling, volleyball to host larger tournaments, and we feel like we have a wonderful setting for people to come in and enjoy a ball game, and so we're happy to host those things. And obviously with Brulee growing, brings more places to eat, things like that. So to host those tournaments, we can put them on now, and it's good for our kids. We don't have to get on a bus and travel somewhere, some far off place to compete. We can host things now and compete. And then obviously in the backside of campus is the field house, and then went from a 4-lane track to an 8-lane track. And
wow,
which you can imagine how much better that makes a track meet.
Oh, big time.
You can add, instead of 6 heats of the 100 meters, you can run them off in a couple heats. And so it's really good for our kids. We're really excited for our community. Total buy-in from our community, and the support for our schools is there, and we want to make sure we do our part to keep that support and not just have them support us. We want to support the community as a football team as well. And our boys do a really good job of anytime we get a chance, they're in the elementary schools, they're helping build playgrounds, they're doing whatever they can, and we never have a problem with our guys volunteering and wanting to go be a part of the community instead of just try to give back a little bit.
Coach Schooler, the West Baton Rouge, the teams, very competitive. Plaquemine, not far away. Port Allen, not far at all. Brulee, obviously, where you're the coach. White Castle, not far away. Donaldsonville, Ascension Catholic. I mean, there's a lot of good football.
The Livonia,
heading that other way, Livonia. I mean, and then Catholic Point Capee and what Semino did there, and then he went to Catholic and won a championship. But there's a lot of talent in West Baton Rouge.
Yes.
I mean, have you, since you've been there in 17, did you realize that before you moved there, and now have you seen it?
So you see it,
coach?
When you're in North Louisiana, you see it from afar. You see it come playoff time.
Yeah.
Now I'll say this: if you look up, if anybody wants to look up a schedule, pull up the schedule Coach Ball has. Made in Ruston, take on all comers, and so they're playing more of the South Louisiana teams and stuff like that. So you see them more.
Right.
But when I was there, it was come playoff time, and we get in the playoffs, and you see all this talent. You're like, good Lord. And then, but you come down here, and then you're seeing it week by week. And when we're in the 3A district, and it's just week after week. Whether it was West Feliciana or U High or Madison Prep or Baker when Coach Randall was there. All those. I think that district one year had 4 of us in the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. Which I don't know. That's
St. John
probably hadn't been done too many times. I would think.
St. John was the #1 team in the state about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, St. John's played in the Dome.
Yeah.
And you look up through some of the names, and of course we mentioned Norman and Blue, and you talk about some guys at Plaquemine. I mean, Todd Harris is over at LSU right now.
Ronald Martin out of White Castle.
Ronald Martin out of White Castle. Who's the guys out of Donaldsonville? The Greens.
Stefan Sullivan.
Stefan Sullivan.
Jarvis Green.
Yeah. So I mean, you just go through the years of just.
Howard Green cost the Steelers a Super Bowl win. He sacked Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl and caused us a loss.
So there's a ton of talent, and hopefully going forward for the West Side, those won't be the best ones to come through. The ones that are still waiting to come will be the best ones to come through. We probably don't even know they're probably a kindergartner running around on a playground right now.
Daenerys Robinson's got a chance to be one.
Daenerys got a chance to be one of those guys.
Speaking of teams, you start your season with Port Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a rock throw away from you.
Yeah.
The Pelicans, the Panthers, you are the Panthers.
Yep.
They're blue, you are red and black.
Yep. So ton of fun. Last year was the 50th anniversary. This year, obviously 51.
51.
There's a couple years in there where a game wasn't played. Like we didn't play the COVID year. There was another year somewhere along the line. For whatever reason, the game wasn't played. But really, it's a fun game. Both communities come out. I think Coach Gibson and his staff do a great job at Port Allen. Mr. Jackson, the principal there, Coach Lemoyne, our principal, they do a good job of pushing the game within the school with the spirit groups and those kind of things. It's a great way to start off a season.
Yeah.
I can't think of any better way than to come out and start. Look, let's don't build up to it. Let's just jump both feet in and let's get to football in 2022.
What do you think of the new changes with? And I like it. Get your thoughts. all the championships now one place.
Yeah, let's play. I think a kid in the state of Louisiana wants to play in the Superdome. I can't imagine a kid that was, and this is no knock on any other stadium, that would say, I'd rather play at Stadium A than go play where the Saints play every Sunday. I can't imagine, and just you've been going for years, I've been going for years, the state championship games, and just the memories as a fan that you have in there, watching guys play, guys that you ended up watching in Tiger Stadium. I can just remember Marcus Spears walking in the dome and watching Marcus Spears, as big as he was, punting the football in pregame.
Right.
And then you get to see him, at LSU. Just as a fan, as a football fan, I want to see those kids.
Everybody's in one place.
I want to go. I want to walk in on Thursday or Friday or whatever it is and sit there all day and watch 4 or 5 ball games as a fan. Now, preferably, I'd like to watch one of those from the sideline.
Right. Right. Maybe get a Super Bowl sideline pass or something.
Yeah, really.
Coach, what do you think of the ruling? I'm still learning it with the select, non-select. Some of those teams are going in the select now.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a fair playing field, and if that's what Mr. Baton and the Executive Council felt like needed to be done, then that's the principals. The principals run that thing, and we're going to play where they tell us to play. And I hope that they do everything they can to keep it a level playing field for those of us that are community schools and playing football with the guys that walk through our doors. Just keep it level.
It's going to be a little tougher now for some of those select schools.
It'll be a little tougher.
Little tougher way to get to the dome again. We'll say dome now instead of saying
to the dome. Yeah.
All these different places, but we're going to go ahead and come back. We're going to have our Dr. Shay Corbin's going to join us in a few minutes. Coach, appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Oh, we want to mention the female's name, the wrestler girl who's all state for Brulee.
Yeah.
I didn't even know we had females but you were talking about there was club wrestling, and you can wrestle on the boys team because we don't have a girls wrestling team.
So there's trying to get it, trying to pilot it with the LHSA and get girls wrestling going where these ladies can have a chance to compete. Right now, if they're going to wrestle, they have to wrestle with the guys. And hats off to them, not just Sarah Daly for us, but other girls around the state that are out there and they're willing to get in there with the boys and compete. Hats off to them. She's now they do have it in the club, where they can wrestle. They have to have a girls division, and Sarah's All-American in that. So really super proud of her for that. But hopefully we can get that going with LHSA, and it may take us a little while to get the numbers up. But I think if there's enough interest in it, I think it's something it's another avenue for a student athlete to compete and find something that's their niche at school.
Thank you again, Coach.
Appreciate
you doing a great job at Brusly High School. We're going to have Dr. Shay Corbin join us next. We'll be right back.
So, hey guys, just wanted to take a minute to tell you about Harvey Autos. If you need a new or used car, there's 3 great dealerships right here worth checking out. John Harvey Toyota, Harvey Subaru, and Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City. Low prices, honest people. Tell them Lee sent you.
Hi everyone, Lee Brecheen returning to the show, the Sports Scouting Report. You saw the Bruley coach, Coach Schooler, his players Randall Matthews, Stefan Anderson, 2 great players. This segment we have a doctor, Shay Corbin, who's in Baton Rouge, who's been practicing for a long time. I want to introduce him. Appreciate you being on the show.
Hey, thanks, Lee. Glad to be here.
You know a little bit about TV. You had a show at one time.
I did, yeah. It was called The Health Show, and another doctor and I, Dr. Greg Ward, was a physiatrist or physical medicine and rehab, and I'm a chiropractor, and we kind of co-hosted and produced the show through Bethany and their TV station for about 3 or 4 years. Did 70 shows and took a lot of topics that people wanted to hear about, and would bring experts on, just kind of like you're doing now.
Yeah, and I wanted to mention his business. It's called the Medical Spine and Sports Injury Rehab Centers. It's on, tell everybody where it's at.
Jefferson Highway, 7417 Jefferson Highway, right near Town Center.
When you leave Superior Grill and Government, it's very close.
Not too far, yeah, right next to...
corporate's very close.
Yeah, corporate, yeah. Right next to, a lot of people know City Pork, and then the paint store.
Give old
Sherwin-Williams.
City Pork a little plug there.
That's right, yeah.
Need some paint, or you need some food.
Or you need your back adjusted, or just good old care for your spine.
Your background, you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes.
LSU for 13 years with golf.
I did PGA Tour,
yeah.
for 4 years as well. Yes.
Yeah, big stuff. And we won't get into it long, but also as a hobby, you race cars.
I do road race cars. Yes.
Well, that'll take a whole nother show.
That's a whole segment.
Yeah. But today, we wanted you to come on to talk about post-concussions.
Yeah, post-concussion syndrome and symptoms and those type of things.
Because parents, what do you do when your kid has one, football game, Friday night's over, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
What do we do and how does that work? And I wanted you to be able to talk about that today for parents and coaches and including myself.
No, it's a common thing. It's happening, and we're recognizing it more and more in sports. We have assessment tools that we use actually on the field. Athletic trainers are very well versed in these things. I have a master's in athletic training that works with us, and we actually have a speech pathologist that does cognitive therapies. We work with other medical physicians and even neurologists. And so the symptoms are really what it's all about. How severe are the symptoms? And then obviously we don't want to repeat concussion anytime soon. So return to play is very important, and return to play is based on those symptoms. So what do we do? Concussion, most people it's, we just rest, we don't do this, we don't do that. We don't want to overexert ourselves for a period of time, then we try to come back. And so treating that has advanced over the years, especially with the advent of the different NFL things. The American Academy of Neurology, which I'm a member of, they have had several sports concussion symposiums, and kind of the latest and greatest is we do treat some of the symptoms now. We do start doing light cardiovascular exercise as soon as possible, as soon as we can do it asymptomatically. And then we do want them to rest their brains and minds a little bit, especially for severe concussions. If you're photosensitive, meaning light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, you're having some significant nausea, dizziness, those headaches are just unrelenting. We want you to shut down. No TV, no phones, none of that stuff. We've pulled kids out of school and taken phones away and all that stuff for 3 or 4 days at a time. We don't want them resting for 2 weeks. We need to get them back. Just like if you have a shoulder injury, you're going to want to start rehabbing that shoulder as soon as possible. And the brain is no different. We're starting to recognize that it does need some care. There's not a lot of medications, according to the American Academy of Neurology, that are targeted for concussion. You target more of the symptoms.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this, because this is what football coaches talk about a lot, and I'll talk to them about it. You always hear in the paper, well, first concussion, such and such got it, he's going to be out a month. Mild concussion, let's just say that it's a mild, it's not the bad one, but like I said, determined on how severe. But you always hear a week is not enough. It's usually always 2 weeks with them. That's what you hear in football.
Yeah.
But in football, the fans are all, how long is the kid going to be out? How long is the quarterback going to be out?
Yeah, coaches, the players, probably the hardest person is the player.
Yeah.
The player wants to go back more than anybody.
Right. Everybody's like, when is he going to get back? But
yes.
health-wise, brain, health, to be safe, what do you think as a doctor? I mean, they're all bad. Concussions are not good, so.
Yeah, boy, Pandora's box. You went right for it, didn't you? So the answer is not, there's no just specific time frame. It is not I strained my knee. When I can play on my knee pretty pain-free, I can go back. There's a thing called hurt versus harm in medicine and athletics, and really anything, return to work, play, whatever that is. And hurt means I can go out and I can play hurting, which a lot of our athletes do, and that's okay, but it's not going to cause them harm. And so with the brain and concussion, we're a little bit more cautious, just because we don't know as much as we do about the knee and the shoulder and all of that. So you can play hurt, but you can't play injured, which would cause more harm. So really the return to play is really based on symptoms, and then how you do with those symptoms under stress, heat, exercise, all of those things. So we're going to use forms like the SCAT-5 and the River Mead over and over on these kids or these adults, and we're gonna want these symptoms, and then we're going to say, okay, let's get on the treadmill and let's do 30 minutes on a treadmill at a fast clip or walk or slow jog, and let's see if symptoms come back. If they do, we shut it down, and if they don't, then we start adding things like, okay, let's take the River Mead, or let's take the SCAT-5, or let's do this cognitive exercise just after that stressor and exercise, and we see what their development is supposed to be. There is enough data out there to show us that we can return to play effectively once certain symptoms and these symptoms go away. So it is so different for every person. It's really hard to say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. It's just difficult. A week out, if you've had a significant concussion that's diagnosable by some of these forms, whether you're your athletic trainer, your family practice guy, a chiropractor, whoever diagnoses that, which they can, it doesn't always have to be just a neurologist. Athletic trainers diagnose concussions all the time, and so do family practitioners, and sometimes they're the better ones to do it because they see the players and they know the people and they know how they are a little bit better than a neurologist who's never met them. And so it's good to have someone that is familiar with them if that's possible.
You know, we see it all the time, but professional sports, they seem like they try to rush coming back.
Yeah, a lot of money on the line.
A lot of money, and that's a really bad spot, especially championship games coming up, especially the Super Bowl or the playoffs. And I, as a fan, as much as I want to say it, I don't want to see my favorite player, you know, lose his career over a game and have health problems over trying to get back to win a championship.
That's correct. Yeah, that is becoming more and more acceptable to pull people out, and that is a peer pressure thing as well. And like I said, that athlete doesn't want to, he's trying to convince the doctor to let me go play.
I'm okay.
So the doctors are the medical professionals that are making these decisions are often in a very
tough spot.
Tough spot. And I've had to make that call, and it's extremely stressful sometimes, but you do have to pull that pressure away from you and think about what's best for the kid. And so, I mean, that's just the way it is.
We're going to go over a little bit because I want to ask you about golf. You saw a lot of golf injuries.
Sure.
And people don't even think of that. But golf balls hurt and they fly, and you know, it's not, you know, there's you can get hurt with a club. Right?
Most of the injuries in golf are repetitive injuries, you know, and I mean, you can get concussions from golf balls hitting your head, but no different than pretty much any other sport, you know. And a lot of times, you know, I'm going to digress back to football because this is what you do a lot, and you know, we have made some amazing advancements in the field of equipment, and credit goes to these equipment manufacturers for doing that. But all concussions aren't directly related to just the impact on the head. And so these cushions have slowed that speed down.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, they have actually slowed that speed down and stuff. But one of the things, you got these kids sprinting, they're 18 miles an hour sprinting with full gear and get their clock cleaned and go the other way. Well, the brain was still going 18 miles an hour when the person went backwards. And so the brain is suspended in the skull, and so it can actually impact the inside of the skull even though they didn't hit their head. And
that's what people don't think about.
That's what they don't think about. It is actually in most of our Louisiana High School Athletic Association's paperwork that you do not have to hit your head just to have a concussion. And so people think, oh, there's no way you got a concussion with that. Yeah, there is. So we have advanced light years in the past 5 or 10 years.
I want to mention at the end of this segment, I've got to mention this because I'm a sports fanatic. When I met Shay at Rotary, I want to give Rotary a plug.
Yeah, Rotary Baton Rouge.
Rotary Baton Rouge, there you go, man, great people. Shay grew up next door to a famous brothers of a famous player, Fred Biletnikoff, Mr. Stickum himself from the Oakland Raiders.
He made Stickum popular.
When I had a noonie in my mouth and I couldn't even speak, I saw, who's that Stickum guy on TV for the Raiders? Kenny Stabler, his quarterback. His brother was your neighbor.
He was, Bob Biletnikoff, great guy. Taught me a lot about how to play football. and I wouldn't have been as good of the football player as I was without Bob. And so, needless to say, Raider days when they were on TV back in the day, when Fred was there, was a big event. And Bob was a wonderful coach and mentor, and their whole family is very dear to me still.
I think that's an interesting human interest story tidbit we can talk about another time, but people find that very interesting. I do. I mean, I didn't even know Fred Biletnikoff had a brother in Louisiana until I met you.
Yep.
But again, medical spine and sports injury rehab centers is his business, Jefferson Highway, and call him at 924-3989.
Yes.
225.
Yep.
And if you're outside the area, the river parishes, West Baton Rouge, Lafayette, I mean, he'll take patients.
We have an office in West Baton Rouge as well, and over in Brulee, and so you can get us from either of those locations.
Go to his website too. They have a website, and
DocShay.com.
Very in detail, by the way, Shay. I want to tell you, I went on it the other day. There's a lot of information there.
There is
videos.
Yes, I do a lot of exercise videos to show people how to rehab properly.
I learned today. I learned with him. I didn't know. I didn't know you can get a concussion without getting hit. See, I learned, and I hope you did too. Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem. Thank
you,
Lee.
We'll get Dr. Shay back on in the future again.
Looking forward to it.
Maybe we can talk about racing cars too.
I can do that.
We could do that. A little more about Biletnikoff too. We'll have him back. Dr. Shay, appreciate you. That was the end of our show. We want to thank the Marriott at LSU that will house a lot of our guests. The Marriott, appreciate you. Also, I want to talk about Superior Grill. Support them. They are a big sponsor of our show. Government Street, Highland, and New Orleans. And also, we'll see you next week, but catch the show on YouTube, our website, lafootballmagazine.com, wherever you get your podcast, and also lafootballmagazine.com. Our magazine will be out in about a month and a half, our 26-year preview football magazine. Be sure to go pre-order your magazine today. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.